Hey guys, this is Erin with the Seasonal Soul, and I wanted to come to you this morning. Last night was a full moon, which is still pretty potent energy. It's definitely not too late to celebrate that full moon, and tonight the moon is going to be just as bright and gorgeous. So I encourage you to step outside again tonight and get under the full moon and soak in some of that rich full moon energy. And I wanted to talk to you today about full moon rituals and what you can do to honor the full moon. We say, celebrate the full moon or have a full moon ritual or whatever, but I wanted to share with you what I did last night to observe the full moon. So over my shoulder here is my impromptu full moon altar that I created, and I wanted to share that with you. I think that it's important that we don't make these things we don't overthink them, right? An altar isn't something that you have to necessarily plan or build, or it doesn't have to be like that big of a thing. So I wanted to show you what I did with my full moon altar, which this is not an altar that I keep up all the time. I was excited last night about celebrating the full moon, and so after I put my kids to bed, I just felt inspired to kind of run around and gather up all of the things that are powerful and meaningful, and I place them together on an altar under the full moon. So I'll show you right now what I have on there. So this is my full moon altar, and I've got, let's see, every full moon cycle I like to draw some of these really awesome oracle cards, and they have archangels and they have light beings and like just all these different powerful beings. So every full moon cycle, every new moon, I draw a couple, whatever feels right, one or two of those, and then I let these awesome beings support me in my work throughout the month. So these guys are these are my two guides this moon cycle: Archangel Michael and then Archangel Gabriel. So I've got them here. Let's see what else is on here. I put a lot of jewelry, like I've really been loving this Isis necklace. So she's pretty badass Egyptian goddess of motherhood and magic and medicine. So I put her on there to kind of fuel her under the full moon. And I've got my mala beads and just all kinds of gems and crystals. And I'm learning how to use a pendulum. So I put this guy on here to get some full moon magic. And anyway, just some other things, some river water that I collected. I've got an eagle feather back here, just different things. My altar assistant. Anyway, so I just wanted to show you that, I think when we talk altars, often we think of these as like really something that you have to really plan and overthink, and it needs to be perfect. And I just wanted to show you how you can just gather a mishmash of all the little things that are around your house that are meaningful to you, and just use those to create a little impromptu altar. These are all just sitting on my living room ottoman, so it's not something that I take too seriously. And I think, that's kind of how your spiritual practice should be in general. I think often we try and take it too seriously. We overthink it. We think that, things need to be planned and we really need to like know what we're doing, and it just doesn't need to be that way, and in fact shouldn't be that way. It should all just be really intuitive and kind of, you know, whatever you're inspired to do. So then last night I hadn't really had anything planned as far as observing the full moon, except just being outside and spending some time with my daughter. But when we came home, I could see the full moon out the window, and I felt like, well, what kind of spiritual mentor am I if I'm not spending some time celebrating this full moon? And I just felt totally inspired to spontaneously create this altar, and I sat in the light of the full moon, and at first I was feeling like I need to say something, I need to like pray. I was trying to think of the right words, and I felt like, you know what, the full moon is a great time to just let everything soak in. It is perfectly okay and acceptable to just sit in the light of the full moon and have that be your ritual that you, or your ceremony that you engage in to honor the full moon. The light of the full moon is really magical and really powerful, and you could just say the simplest thing, set the simplest intention of allowing the full moon to simply illuminate whatever needs to be illuminated, and then just sit and see what comes up for you. So anyway, I believe this is day 4 of my daily Facebook Live challenge that I've set for myself as part of my Igniting My Inner Fire challenge, and doing something that I find challenging. And this is a big part of being spontaneous, not knowing exactly what I'm going to say, having my kids pop in. Usually again, you know, something like this is something that is like overthought. I have to write a whole script. It's not very spontaneous. It freaks me out if the kids are around. I don't know what I'm going to say. But you know, life is life, and your spiritual practice also is just a part of your life. And, you know, we don't need to overthink these things. We should try and be more spontaneous and go with the flow. And that's where all the magic comes up anyway, right? Right, Ellie? Okay, well, I will be back tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining, and as always, you can find me at theseasonalsoul.com, and I will be back to chat with you tomorrow. Enjoy your Sunday. Bye, everybody.